everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Around the Ropes radio show. Yes, guys, you guys have me here now 2 weeks in a row.
Woo!
I know. I said originally I was coming back in February, but plans change, get sick. As we always say, shit happens. But guys, welcome back to another installment of the Around the Ropes radio show. As always, guys, you guys know what we do. We talk everything pro wrestling. As always, I'm joined by the Damian Priest off of Timu. Jay, how you been, my brother? How you hold up with this cold weather we're having right now?
Jesus, talk about a cold front. It's feels like 1 degree outside. I'm out there with mask, gloves, hat on, hoodie, North Face jacket on. It is ridiculously cold, and it's going to be cold for the rest of the week. Rest of the week for New York, so it's going to get more ugly, I heard.
Oh, especially you pretty much nailed it around in the head. If you live in the Northeast right now, you're kind of dealing with a bad cold front.
So freezing out there. It's horrible. My son got to go out through this. It's crazy.
You know what's funny though? That's the problem though. My dad just made a great point. It's called winter in the Northeast.
Well, hopefully the groundhog pops its shadow get 6 weeks of early spring. That'll be really great.
Well, I want to ask you this now. Well, I'll put it this way. It might be cold outside, but the world of pro wrestling is hotter as it's ever been.
Oh, yeah. We saw that this weekend. We saw this past week. It's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. We could get right into it if you want.
Oh, absolutely. Believe me, we are. Because I was one of the many people who sat there Thursday night to watch TNA's debut on AMC. And I've been a on-again, off-again fan of TNA because I've been able to follow their clips through social media. So I've been able to keep up with, what's been going on storyline-wise. But I was like, you know what? Let me give this a shot. Let me do what all the wrestling fans are going to do and sit there and watch to see what they're going to pull off. I'm going to be honest. Thursday night showed me that this company has a long way to go.
Do tell, man. Do tell.
Where do I start? The fact that, and we'll start off at the beginning. Styles showed up, and we talked about this last week on the show. What were they going to do with Styles? And you actually nailed it on the head. I was actually going to message you group chat and say that you kind of nailed it right on the head.
Yeah.
With what he was going to do. That part I liked because it's always nice to see, Styles on my TV. It's always great. And we'll get into Styles a little bit later, especially with what he has coming up at the Royal Rumble in 2 weeks because I want to get your thoughts on that. But I will say this much. I like the video packages they did, kind of telling the history of TNA.
Yes.
When it came to certain matches, I like the fact that they pulled back to the clips. You saw the clips of the Samoa Joes, the Kurt Angles, even when it came to the Knockouts match. And then I think the opening match was, if I remember correctly, was the Hardys and Elijah versus Order 4, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, they want to go the nostalgia route. They want to really, and this was my biggest fear going into the show last week, was that they were going to rely way too heavily on the WWE, on the ex-WWE guys. They were going to rely way too heavily on them. And I feel like they did in this episode. I felt like every segment, for the most part, had either a WWE person, a current WWE superstar, or an ex-WWE superstar.
Do you feel like they utilized it to their full potential?
I don't know. I feel like the way they handle it, we're going to get into the comments here in a second, because our good friend David from across the pond.
What's up, David Reynolds? How are you, my friend?
Actually, let me hold the comment right now. He goes, John J., how's it going, fellas? Well, you know me by now. I don't beat around the bush. I think someone has to put something in Hunter's water the last few weeks. Raw and SmackDown have been great. Yes, David, I will agree on that. We'll definitely get, like I said, we're going to touch on Raw and SmackDown here momentarily, but I want to get your take specifically on one segment. And I think you know what segment I want to talk about first.
Sure.
The elegance, the male elegance. Uh, when they introduced the newest member of the elegance brand group.
Mr. Elegance.
Did you feel like, because I was watching it, and I felt like the crowd was dead. I felt like it was
You want
like,
my
yeah, well, I was going to say, to me, it felt like, a who the hell are you type of mindset. But what was
right?
your thoughts?
No, we don't because his name is Mr. Elegance, right? Doesn't help us at all. We don't know who he is.
Well, I did some research. Supposedly he did wrestle a lot in the independents
Okay. Anything
for
we have watched?
yeah. I mean, he wrestled for OVW for a while,
Okay.
but my thing is this, and I get the fact it's the first show on a new network. I understand that. I'm not taking that away from them,
Right.
but I think the way they presented him was so like there was nothing to it. It was like yeah, we're about to introduce this new person. And it's like, well, it's Miss Elegance. Okay, now that's like, why should I care who he is?
Yeah.
And also, I'm going to say this right now: nobody goes from being that fat to that skinny in a week. I'm sorry to break the news to everybody.
They try to make it funny, huh?
Funny, it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went on to win the titles. I mean, we kind of figured, once he introduced a new person, they're like, yeah, they're going to take the belts back from the inspiration. Let's call a spade on that one.
All right.
But what did you think though of that segment, and then lead it into the match with Peyton and Cassie?
I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think whoever put that on TV should be fired immediately. Get him out of creative, get him out of the company. They are killing you, whoever came up with it. I'm even surprised, John, that it went past TV. I actually surprised somebody said, yes, this is approved. Let's put it on tonight's AMC debut of TNA and let's put it out on TV in front of the world. This was so atrocious. It was horrible. I can't even believe. Not even Vince McMahon himself would have passed this segment into WWE and say, yeah, let's air it. This was like the worst thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling in 2026. Right now.
I'll put it this way. That segment was the quintessential TNA segment from 10 years ago.
If it is, buddy, TNA is in big trouble. If it is, they're in big trouble.
Well, I think it's funny because last week Bus Open was talking about it, and Bishop Dyer, the wrestler formerly known as Baron Corbin, made a great point. It's going to take a couple of weeks. They have not been, they're in this new position now. And I give them a couple of weeks. I look at it as let them get all the kinks out. And then before you know it, I'll say this much. Give it a month before we see, if this is going to flop. Because I can say right now,
so you're saying right now you agree with Bishop Dyer that we should give TNA another shot, even though they had I don't know how you felt about the whole night. How do you feel about it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? You thought it was okay?
I mean, I like the main event. I will say that much. Santana and Kazarian. I liked it, yes.
Oh my God. We have different takes, but go ahead. Did you like the show? Do you thought it was okay or thought it was bad?
I thought it was, for a first show on a new network in front of a new audience, no, I didn't think it was good. But for wrestling itself, and that's the other thing also, in a 2-hour show, you could have 3 matches. Because you got to remember, you had the tag match, the 6-man tag match. You had the women's tag match, and then you had the main event. That was it. Unless I'm forgetting a match.
Nope.
Match-wise, I will say remember also, you had the Hardys in the first match. Anytime the Hardys are on, you know they're going to give you a decent match. The women's tag match, hit or miss with. To me that wasn't such a big thing that had to be on the premiere episode.
Mm-hmm.
And Kazarian, but I'll say this much though, with Kazarian and Santana, you got two guys who have been in this industry for years, who know how to tell a story, who know the fundamentals of putting together a good match. And those two, and I'll tell you right now, we always talk about the quintessential babyface and the quintessential heel. You couldn't get more than what we saw with Kazarian and Santana Thursday. Kazarian has played the heel perfectly. Santana, yes. Could he play the bad guy? Absolutely. But right now, as the babyface, it's some of the best work he's ever done. Okay. Now, I think it was stupid how your big angle that you're using to set up the pay-per-view, which we'll get to that in a second, was filmed after the show went off air with Nick Nemeth and all that. But I'll give you an example. Sonya Deville.
Yeah, talk about it.
I can't believe in 2026 I'm actually about to agree with Dave Meltzer on something. Yes, it really must be a cold day when I actually am agreeing with Dave Meltzer on something.
Okay.
I'm getting tired of this heel authority crap. Mm-hmm. I'm getting tired of it. To me, it's overdone.
All right.
To me, it's overdone, drawn out. Yeah, did it work years ago when they did it with Hunter and Stephanie?
Or John Laurinaitis?
Yeah, when it was them, yes, I will agree. Now, am I taking away from the fact that I think Sonya, or whatever her name now is, do I think she's going to do bad in that position? No, not necessarily. But it's the old rinse and repeat thing we always talk about in pro wrestling. It's how many times have we seen this heel authority figure? Because what's going to end up happening is, I hate to say it, we're going to end up getting the scenario where, not right away, but down the road, you're going to get Team Santino versus Team, I think Daria is her name.
Yes, Daria.
Team Daria versus Team Santino. Mm-hmm. The winner gets control of TNA.
At some point, I think was good.
That's what's going to end up happening. But again, it's the same storyline. We've seen this before. Right. I'm tired of it. And then also, Elena Black is the newest knockout star. Okay, great.
She's the new knockout star.
Yeah, but when she came out, the crowd was like, "Who are you?"
Keep going, John. Keep going. You don't want Jay to take the next take because it's going to be ugly. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what they should have done is when she said, "Oh, I signed our newest knockout star," they should have thrown it to a video package, like everybody keeps saying. Throw it to a video package, show who she is, where she came from, why she's pissed off, and then it's like you could have somebody sitting there going, "Oh, I remember seeing her in NXT all those years ago," because TNA on Thursday night assumed that the people who were watching it knew exactly what was going on. Mind you, they have not been on a regular broadcasting television channel since the days of Spec TV. And that's going already almost 10 years ago. And then last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to send it over to Jay, because I know Jay has a lot of stuff he wants to say about.
Man. You're too nice. You're too nice.
Well, I also
your take is so nice, so go ahead. You're very nice.
Well, I also popped on the fact of Dixie Carter coming out
Okay.
for no
How you,
rhyme or reason.
how you feel about it?
That was more for the greatest hits. Let's call it what it is. That was more for the greatest hits because then it set up the moment with her and Bully.
Right.
It's like if you remember years ago when nobody thought Vince McMahon would work with Eric Bischoff, and you know exactly what Raw episode I'm talking about with this one. And all of a sudden, Vince announced that the newest general manager for Monday Night Raw was Eric Bischoff. This is coming off the heels of him buying WCW. It's the exact same moment.
Wow.
That to me, it's one of those things of, they're
Big
never
state.
going to get. I mean, I'll be this way. Did I think Bully was good on commentary? Yeah, he added some. He
All
added a
right.
lot of knowledge.
Okay.
So to me, I would say for a debut on a network, I wasn't thrilled with it. The wrestling part of it was okay, but I know Jay's kind of chomping at the bit there. I could kind of see it in his face.
Got an itch like no other. But I'm gonna start off with this. This was probably one of the worst shows that I've ever seen my entire life. So if I'm a new wrestling fan and I saw this on my AMC that I normally watch classic hit movies on AMC, we're talking about Die Hard and stuff like that. I would definitely never watch TNA wrestling ever again for the fact that it is the AMC debut of TNA wrestling. So not only it's horrible, it's atrocious. If there's another word for atrocious, people on the chat, let us know what's another word worse than atrocious, because that's what Jay definitely saw this past Thursday. The only thing that saved Jay's life, he did not see this live. If he saw this live, he would have probably threw up or he would have broke his TV. Straight, flat, and simple. But let's start it off. We had about 6 to 12 months to build a card for our first ever AMC show of TNA. And what did we do? We dropped the ball. Carlos Silva, and I'm going to talk about all those executive producers that I saw at the end of the show, Tommy Dreamer, et cetera. You guys should take the fault on this for the fact that you had all these months. You have WWE as your gateway to use wrestlers, as John stated in his take, to basically make a good show. You did it. You put on a show that was more talking than wrestling. That's number one. For a fact, I saw a lot of silly nonsense that Vince McMahon would never dream of doing. He would never dream of putting a Mr. Elegant segment. He would have thrown that shit and fire whoever the hell passed it to him. I don't even know how this got approved. Even that Tommy Dreamer is executive producer. I don't even know how he said this was good. There was more backstage segments, and we even saw more of the elegance backstage that was totally unnecessary, which I think everybody effed up the main event, especially when Nick Lemeth is supposed to come out, do the challenge, be the referee for one of your biggest pay-per-views in Genesis. You're trying to get new viewers, right? I'm a new viewer. I'm watching your show. You're trying to get me to watch Saturday night, and this is what you put. Let's talk about the biggest signing. Elena Brack, crickets. She did a pose here, a pose there, crickets. Who are you, as John stated? Jesus, this was my girl. This was FKA Cora Jade. This was the future I saw in WrestleMania with Roxanne Perez, and she let me down into crickets. And the RA, and John and Dave Messers, everybody right is there. Yes, we've seen this 10, 12 years ago. It's been done. It's been done by the greats like John Laurinaitis. I used to love Power to the People. But it is over. We're in a new generation, folks. This does not work. And you know what upsets me, John, and everybody? That the fact that she comes out, probably to one of the biggest pops of the night, if you want to call it, okay? She comes out for a pop. She's thanking Santino. You're doing a hell of a job. I can't believe we're on AMC. And all of a sudden you go heel in 2-3 minutes? I have never seen that in my entire life. A person just goes straight heel and badmouth Santino. I'm already thinking, damn, Santino must be out of the job. He's getting badmouth. He's getting badwashed. He's getting treated like pure shit. And she goes heel. And she reveals the biggest signing, and it's crickets. And another thing with the main event, it was a good match, John. But the problem for me, it's going to mess up. It's like if I write a story or I write a novel, I have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Jay is going to view it as being a great, good match from beginning, middle to end. I had the beginning, I had the middle, I didn't have the end. Unfortunately, there was a little miscommunication between both, and they redid it again. It just took the element out of me. You know what took the element more out of me, folks? The fact that I got to watch a video by my crew. Shout out to Ray. Ray, get well soon, brother. We love you. Sent a video of basically saying Nick Nemeth coming out after the show is over, by the way, coming out, trying to be this special guest referee between the two, Kazarian and Santana running back this Saturday. That even pissed me off a lot more. I'm a new viewer. This is an AMC debut. There is no excuse for Carlos Silva and TNA and Anthem at all. You had months to build this. WWE obviously helped you. It's a gateway. The way it's produced, John, I'm going to say it was WWE-ish to me. All levels from beginning to end. The crowd couldn't give one damn about any segment. Dixie Carter comes out to a bunch of boos. Hell, I boo. What the hell am I seeing Dixie Carter out? You could have just sent me a video package for 2 minutes. I'll be okay with that. But we didn't get that. We got a lot of silly nonsense. It was horrible, John. New viewers are probably scared. They ran away. They don't want to watch AMC no more on Thursday nights. They're just going to wait for Die Hard. I don't believe it.
Well, I get what you're saying. And it's funny because my dad just said the same thing about when Dixie came out because he was watching it with me on Thursday.
Bunch of boos. Boo. That's all you heard. Boo.
And what I didn't get, though, and then going back, I forgot about the whole thing when she turned heel. And I agree with you because when that happened in my head, I'm sitting there going, okay, Santino's done. Either he's coming back to in-ring competition or he's done completely. And then 2 seconds later, he's making decisions again. Like,
yeah, he's backstage and he's making matches. No sense.
I mean,
no sense whatsoever. How do you go heel in 2 minutes? You just came to the company. You go heel in 2 minutes? It's crazy.
It was done.
It was done horribly. It was. You didn't have to push your heel right away. You didn't have to do that. You did it.
I mean, if they're going to go down the road, the only thing I'm thinking in my head is they're going to go down the power struggle road. And they're going to have it that, Santino's going to try to be the good guy. And it's going to be, good cop, bad cop thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why? And here's the other thing.
Even if you're doing that, right? Let's say you're doing that. Why are you rushing it? It's January. Our biggest show is until October. Wouldn't you want to drag it out a little while?
Yeah. And here's the other thing I didn't get. You announced, obviously, I know they had the issues with the visas, and I get that. And they first of all, they must have been pissing their pants. The fact that Leon Slater couldn't be there. He had to miss the pay-per-view, but he put on one hell of a match with Carmelo Hayes on Friday night, which we'll get to that in a little bit.
But John, here's the thing. There's no excuse because let's say you had trouble with the visas. You still have a gateway. You're telling me you can't pick up the call, hey, I lost Leon Slater. You think you could give me somebody that's up and coming down there? Who can I get? Give me a Miles Bourne. Give me somebody.
Here's what I didn't get though. I think you would have had a much bigger moment. Because I want to look specifically at when he announced, the open challenge for the Knockouts title for Saturday for the pay-per-view. We have Santino come out. He announced that Danny Luna couldn't be there because of visa issues. Okay, fine. You say, okay, but you make the comment of that Lee Wing Lee, I think her name is, or Xia Li, as she was on WWE, was still going to be a fighting champion. Okay, not a problem. But then you have Zarya come out. Now, would it have made more sense, and I think a much bigger moment, if you would not have had her come out? You would have waited until Saturday, and then that's when you do the reveal.
Yeah, totally agree.
And what you could have even done, if Elena Black is going to be the next go-to, so to speak.
No, I hope
But
not.
here's my thing, though. You're going to have her come out, Elena Black, basically come up there, do her pose, going, "Hi, everybody, hi," and then you're going to sit there and you're going to tell me that that you're not going to have her do anything, and then all of a sudden come the pay-per-view on Saturday, she's just going to show her face again.
And pose, by the way.
To me, the way I would have done it, you want to have a big impact. I would have turned out if I was booking it, I had the pencil. I would have had her. I would have had Xylee, the wrestler formerly known as Xylee, come out on Saturday and say, "Okay, my opponent couldn't be here tonight, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be leaving Dallas without a fight. I'm putting up an open challenge right now." Then you hear Cora J, Elena Black's music hit, and Elena Black's like, "You know what? I'm coming for the top." Because now, what are you going to do? Basically, now you're going to tell me, "Oh, you're not going to do Elena Black now till probably Rebellion," or are you're not going to wait till Slammiversary?
Who knows? We're supposed to hear her talk supposedly this Thursday.
And I will say one thing, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to then come back
from all this horrible TNA debut. Ugh.
Well,
Jay,
we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little Genesis, because there actually is somebody I kind of want to give a shout out to, who we saw on the kickoff show of Genesis. And if you're up in the Northeast, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So, guys, we're actually going to play a brand new, yes, guys, we've been teasing it for a while, brand new Ethan's Corner. I've seen it already. You guys will love it as well. Coming out from this, we will talk Genesis. You guys are watching or listening to the Around Those Radio Show. We'll be right back after this.
Warning.
That's kind of easy. Ja, because that's no snap meshes and girls score forever. Nee. Dat is onderweg hier de Arnold en zo en een shading in de weer dan de views can be hier is because my set. We vergeet wel nou voor de volgende deze win en het naam is al die fish for een hard op so will be. Never remember. Yeah.
That was something.
Guys, we're back here on the Wild Radio Show. Hey, guys, like I said, new Wilson's Corner coming soon. But I want to get into Genesis here for a little bit before we get into what's going on in WWE.
Yeah, man.
And I know we've been talking a lot of, not bad stuff about it, but I do want to give a shout out to somebody we saw on the kickoff show. And if you saw, there was a segment filmed earlier tonight where you saw Tessa Blanchard, Victoria Crawford, and Robert Stone come walking through the back. I think you know exactly which segment I'm talking about here, Jay.
Oh, I know.
And all of a sudden, they ran into a wrestler named Vicky. Now, obviously, if you're from the Northeast and you're from Jersey, you know who I'm talking about here, and that's Vicious Vicky.
Warning.
Yes.
Warning. Vicious Vicky.
who then it was announced she was going to have a match on the kickoff show. Her and Indy Hartwell taking on Tessa Blanchard, and I don't know who the other woman was, so I
You
apologize.
said Victoria Crawford, right?
No, it wasn't Victoria Crawford. It was somebody
Or
else.
somebody else? Oh, okay.
Actually, I'm pulling up right now because I actually have.
I didn't see the match, but I definitely knew who came out because I saw all the video. Shout out to Rob, man. Thanks for the videos.
Yeah, no, let me see here, because when I saw the match, it was
Was it a good match? Did she
Milo
perform well?
it was Milo Moore was her name.
No
I don't know
clue.
who
I
that
has
is.
no idea whose that is.
I
But
will
was it
say
a
this.
good match, John? Was it good?
Yes, I thought the match was very good, but I will say
Awesome.
this much: for somebody like Vicky, and I've seen a lot of Vicky's stuff,
Yeah.
with companies like Bree Combination and Pro Wrestling Magic and all that stuff. And I still remember there was a match, one of the first matches I saw of hers was at Pro Wrestling Magic. She took on an independent wrestler by the name of JC Storm.
Okay.
And that match there were so many issues with that match. Especially there was one part of the match, I remember they were in the corner and Vicky has JC Storm about to suplex her through a door. And I think Vicky ended up taking.
That
Yes.
is fun.
Well, yeah. Oh boy, here we go.
Comments
I
are
guess we
blowing
have
up.
to go to Mega Prime now. I think I know who this is.
Well, he knows you because he had a lot of nicknames for you last time. So he knows
Oh, I
you.
know. Yeah. It's very weird, though. I think I know who this is, actually. A good friend of the show, Omega Prime 5150, says, "Gotta agree with David. It seems like they are cooking on the road to the Rumble, but is that because of the time of the year, or is it because of the fact that they know they need to be all aces because they are international and they can't let the regular drive less? Drive a less. I don't. Like I said, we're gonna get into that at the top of hour number 2. But what I will say this much though, seeing Vicky going from that match, and see, she says to being on the stage of TNA. It's a nice feeling, being in this wrestling world. Jay, I don't know if you've noticed this as well, and we see these people on the independent scene.
I interview her all the time. It's crazy.
And then you interview them, and then you see them on a stage like TNA, and you see them on a much bigger stage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope they sign her. I really do hope they sign her because I think she could be a very valuable asset to
the knockout.
Did she ever?
They had a dues, man, for years.
But I just think, when it comes to what she can do, I can see her doing big things when it comes to that knockout submission. So I just want to give a shout out there. And then also on the flip side, we also saw the wrestler formerly known as Fuego del Sol, KJ Orso, I think his name is, ended up being involved in
the. Got a question here. Jay, were you scared last night? I was scared at Javon Evans. Hell yeah, I was scared last night. My boy Javon Evans. We'll talk about that. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I know. Javon kind of went bouncy and got himself injured.
Oh, got a lot to talk about that. But go ahead, John.
What did you think of the fact that for the international title, for a title match, mind you, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about beforehand, you have, I think it was a fatal 4-way, if I remember correctly.
Okay, fatal 4-way.
One of the guys in it was a former YouTuber, and it was his first title match.
Okay.
It was the YouTuber BDE.
I don't follow these YouTubers. Like, is he popular?
I mean, yeah, he's popular.
What does he do? Like what content? I don't know. Like,
Well, he did do wrestling content, and
okay.
he ended up becoming a full-time wrestler. Basically, he took the Logan Paul route.
Mm. But like a B version of it, right?
Exactly.
Like a
Exactly.
B version.
I'll be straight. BDE isn't really prime when it comes to that. If you get the joke on that one.
Jesus. And you actually watched this guy?
It was actually, you know
TNA
what's funny?
is brainwashing you. Please don't watch bad things. Don't let them do what NXT does to me every Tuesday. Please. Just don't.
Omega says the Fatal 4-Way was Stacks, Orso, Eric Young, BD was there just to take the pin. He was big in wrestling content and then started training.
Man, so when he starts training, we just put him on TV like that because of a name? Wow. TNA definitely don't give a damn what they put on TV. Right, Mr. Elegance?
Oh, I don't even. I have
I
nothing.
don't do this. This is what I watch. I'm not the booker. This is what I see. And this is why Jay thinks that I should thank John basically as saying, John, thank God we didn't do a TNA show because it would have been disastrous to talk about the AFC debut. But go ahead, John. Go ahead. Laugh it up with the big ego. Go ahead. Let the big ego out. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Let it
Sure.
out.
If we have a big ego, why is my box so small? I'm just saying.
This is what you say. I'm just laughing along. I'm just laughing along for the ride.
But obviously, we had Genesis on Saturday.
Yes, we did. We had Genesis this past Saturday. What did you think of the show as a whole after what the disasters we saw Thursday?
To be honest, and we
Yes,
talked
sir.
about this on Thursday. We talked about this last week. There's only one match I was looking forward to.
Okay. What was that?
The tag title match.
Okay. Do you like it?
Yeah, I loved it because again, I'm going, and I'm not even talking about really with the Hardys. Okay, I look at it more of the other side because they were going up against a team called the Righteous in
Yes.
Dutch and Vincent.
Great team.
Those guys. But when you have guys like that who know how to work in the ring,
Right.
you're going to get a good match.
Right.
And it's nice that a company like TNA takes an investment in tag team wrestling,
Right.
and actually knows what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not seeing the crap that we're seeing on SmackDown of the MFTs feuding with the Wyatt Six,
right?
Because the MFTs stole the lantern from the Wyatt Six.
So dumb. But here's the thing, John. You're absolutely on money. The problem is with TNA, they don't have a lot of tag teams. If that makes sense, there's not a lot of tag teams compete against the Hardys. That's the problem.
And and I agree with you. That's the issue, though. Is you can probably get the Righteous and the Hardys probably feuding for a little bit longer because it really is. I don't remember if they said it on commentary during the pay-per-view, but it was very much generational teams going at each other.
Right.
And I mean, you want to talk about other tag teams. Another one we saw them go after them before was Nemeth Brothers with Nick and Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So they have tag teams, but I do agree with you. I think that's what we're going to see in the next couple of weeks. Is they're going to start unveiling a lot more stuff. But let's get to some of the comments here.
Yeah.
Omega says, I was expected to be huge with all the hype that was coming from WWE talking about how they were going to make it huge. Listen, that debut was lackluster.
Atrocious.
trying to do that
Atrocious.
Logan Paul.
We
And,
got a lot, but what do you think of Genesis as a whole, though? I know you're talking about the match. What do you think as a whole from the bounce back from the crap show we saw Thursday?
unfortunately, it was very WWE-esque. It was
Okay.
very WWE-esque. And I think the biggest issue I have, and you look at, I'm going to talk about the main event here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You have what you have, it was Kazarian and Santana in a Texas death match. Where's the build for it? To me, if you're going to put a stipulation like that on a match, you have to have some sort of build to lead up to it.
Right.
Just to turn around and say, hey, we're going to put a Texas death match on for the sake of putting a Texas death match on because you're in Texas.
And there was nothing about a death match in that match, period.
Well, that's the other thing also. You realize that they tend to only do the Texas death match in Texas. I've come to realize that. I know it's because they're in Texas. I get it. But if you notice, they only really do them in Texas. All right, let's go to some comments here because
Go ahead, John. Read the comments. I feel like these fit into last week's conversation, no?
No, they do. David says the Righteous remind me of a cross between the Wyatts and Joe Gacy's old faction skills. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Wasn't that the Grizzled Young Vets?
No, that's another team. I think they're in AEW. Hopefully,
no. But my question is though, wasn't the Grizzled Young Vets when they were in WWE? Weren't they in Schism?
Oh yeah, that was like the new Yeah, they were, but it was just horrible. And I'm going to tell you something about that match. It was a good match. You know what the problem Jay has with that match between the Hardys and the Righteous? The fact that the Righteous have to hand the belts to the Hardy and put the hands up and et cetera, and then you make a face at the end of Vincent on the ramp and like looking at them like, yeah, don't worry, we got you next time. So you basically took the element out of me. You're supposed to be this heel that you hate the Hardys. You put a lock on Jeff Hardy's ear, for God's sakes, and you chain it into the turnbuckle steel to watch his brother get beat up, and you're going to just hand the titles and raise the hand. And not only that, you're going to have a little pep talk. I know you probably said, hey, this was a hell of a match. Yeah, it was a good match. But do I need all that shenanigans in front of me? Excuse me, folks, but we're on live TV. There's a K-face and there's a heel team. You need to be a heel. I don't need to see you give the belt and put their hands up like, yeah, you guys did it. Yay. No. So it took me out of that match. But you said something about TNA Genesis. You thought it was WWE-ish. I'm going to tell you what I thought. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. It wasn't great, and it wasn't okay. It was just good. You know what the problem, John, and everybody watching that TNA has that I'm starting to realize from the crap show I saw on the AMC debut and the good show I saw on Genesis? There's no identity. Now, me and John, we probably seen TNA for the first time, I'm sure, on TNN, just like everybody watching at home. You know how they had an identity, folks? Because they had players. Not only they had players, they had a ring that was six-sided. Now, fast forward to now, there's no identity in TNA. John hit it in the nail. This is WWE-ish. Yeah, it is WWE-ish. Maybe it's supposed to be WWE-ish to get the TV deal. But the fact is, you need an identity, John, in order to survive here. I don't see this company surviving as the second best. Because we have WWE, we know what they bring. A family, fun-filled adventure, right? Ha, 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 ha. We're PG-13, we're PG, whatever. Then you have AEW, cutting edge, hardcore, indie base, lucha libre, whatever you want to call it, company, and we all know what they're known for. What is TNA known for? What if I seen in AMC debut and Genesis that TNA is known for that can stand out, at least to AEW to be second? I haven't seen it, John. I think that's the problem with TNA. They don't have an identity.
No, and I agree with you. And we talked about this last week, though. what are they going to do? You don't have the hype with them coming into this week's show. And yes, I mean, you have the working relationship with WWE now, but you can't rely on the WWE guys to carry that show every week. You got to have some guys from within TNA carry that show. And I'm going to ask you this right now, Jay, and I'll ask leave this to Eternal Nation.
Mm-hmm.
You look at right now, I'm not talking about XW guys like the Hardys.
Yeah.
Who from TNA do you think can hold that company or help that company grow in the years to come? And I'm not saying guys like the Hardys or any of those guys or Stacks, because I know right now he's the international champion. But realistically, who? So I can tell you right now, coming off the show, we started Thursday.
It's honestly Leon Slayer and Mike Santana. I don't think there's anybody else in that roster. They try to show me. Go ahead.
Jay, sorry to cut you off there for a second. But we all know the way they've been pushing Leon, once his contract's done with TNA, he's going to WWE.
I know. But he's still in contract to TNA to the end of the year. So I got to put him on that list.
It's the same thing with Santana. But my question is, who's going to become the quote-unquote that company man or company woman for TNA that okay, they're going to, like we saw with back in the day with WCW, with Sting, who's going to be that guy who's going to live and breathe TNA? Case in point, here's another one. You look at AEW. They've already asked Darby Allin. Darby Allin already said he'll never come to WWE.
I wouldn't even want.
Oh no, I get that. But my point is this: who's going to be that? Let me put it this way. I'll rephrase the question this way: who's going to be that pillar for TNA?
There's nobody, but I could tell you what I've seen that they could push really hard, and there's only two players, and they're on the same team. There's Mustafa Ali and it's Agent Zero. They've made Agent Zero into this impossible Terminator that cannot be thrown or get down or anything. You cannot take this guy down. That's how much I know they're going into that route. Kind of reminds me of the prison thing. But that, and I got to say the other players that I mentioned, Leon Slayer and Mike Santana. There's really nobody to take the belt off Mike Santana of a cave base than Leon Slayer and their career. I would not be surprised this guy holds the championship before he walks out of the door to WWE full time.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
But can they carry the company, John? No. Can they bring it to the next level? No. Can you use these ex-WWEs to get you to the next level? No. Can you get somebody to gateway to use just to have a little fun for your month or so? No. You can make good matches, but you can't keep them. And that's the problem. TNA has a big issue. They don't have rising stars. And if they do have rising stars, because I'm going to tell you something, the Elegance brand is a piece of crap. But those two girls, they could wrestle. I know they could wrestle. I've seen their work before this debut. But do they have charisma? Yes. Do they have personality? Yes. Can they wrestle? Yes. Can they be solo champion, carry the brand like Dana Brooke did before she ended her career? Absolutely. But we don't put them in those routes. And we don't make stars. We just rely on old stars. And I'm sorry, if I see Eddie Edwards hold the title again, I'm really going to throw up. Like, this is just what?
This is my question. We're going to get to the comments here in a second because it seems like we've really sparked an interest. Actually, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to commercial break. Let's go to commercial break.
Question.
Let's go to commercial break. I'll read the comments when we come back. We'll continue the conversation. And we'll definitely get into some Royal Rumble talk as well. Because, guys, we're 2 weeks out from the Royal Rumble.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be very interesting to see. But, guys, we will be right back after this from a word from our friends over at Flow. Be right back right after this. You are watching Radio Show.
Heavyweights in the ring.
And we're back here live on the Orlando Radio Show. Guys, keep the conversation going because I feel like I did not think, hold on, Jay, I did not think when I was putting together some sort of outline for tonight's show, knowing I wanted to get into some Rumble talk, that for the first almost hour and a half would be on TNA Wrestling.
Well, let's cut to the chase. Let's read some comments and go to the next.
All right. Omega says, I don't think that TNA relies on the other company stars like you are saying. I think they get rocked by the larger company. Agent 47 is literally Killer Cross before he left Impact for WWE.
Okay, here's the thing. They don't make them into the company stars, but they use them for matches. Let's not forget the good match. Probably match of the night that I saw was Zarya and that Lee woman. That was match of the night for me. But you're relying on Zarya. Why we could get somebody from our own brand and make them into a star. That's my point. They don't do that. They use a gateway to just make good matches. Kind of reminds me of AEW book.
That's the thing though is, yes, is this partnership right now with WWE working out great? Yes, I enjoyed it. It's been great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be forever. Eventually, and I always talk about this, Jay. I mean, you've been part of the show now, long enough now. I always keep going back to this. I keep hampering on this. And it's not just TNA, because WWE does the same thing, AEW does the same thing. Nobody builds for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Every company, and I don't care which company you're talking about, every company continuously relies on the past and relies on the bigger names. And I get it, especially with TNA. You're on a new network. You're trying to attract a casual fan, and I get it.
Fine.
But when is it going to be that you're going to start building guys that can carry this company? That it's not going to be like, okay, well, we're going to make Wrestler A. He's going to become, this next big thing. And, oh, wait, he's going to be in WWE. And I get the fact that he got screwed, in the last couple of days, going into that debut because they lost a lot of the talent, especially, with Jake Something, prime example.
John, I bet you can't even give me 5 names that could actually be stars in TNA right now.
Right now, well,
give me 5 that could be rising stars and carry that company. I bet you can't think of 5.
The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Leon Slater. That's really it.
You have 4 more?
No, because the problem is anybody else I can think of. No, but here's my thing though. Anybody else that I can think of is already proven. Eric Young's, the Steve Macklins, the Santanas, the Kazarian, they're all proven already. They've been doing this for close to 2 damn decades already.
They're either that or producers or writers for the show.
But here's my question, though. What are you going to do when you don't have the Eric Youngs and you don't have the Steve Macklins anymore?
Well, that's the thing with TNA. They don't know how to choose and pick. I think they don't have a person on the inside to go into these indie companies that you brag so much about that are really great. I mean, we got some great shows coming up, and you promoted very well. You talked about Vicious Vicky, who's been in the circuit for years, and now we're finally using her. I think we should sign her immediately. We just need stars that we could build around, John. And the problem is they don't have somebody or a department, perhaps, to go and find these talented stars or even put a fight and say, hey, I heard that Powerhouse Hobbs is going to be a free agent. Maybe we should talk to him. Maybe we should try to get him to sign a TNA. Why not? But this is the thing. They don't have a person like that. They don't have a department like that. And I think that's a very big flaw, a very big flaw.
But here's the funny thing, though. Omega says easy. You poach from NWA and PWG and Blitzkrieg and beyond. But here's the issue, though. With what he's saying, though.
Yeah.
Because we saw this past week, Limitless Wrestling had held their big show up in Maine, I think it was.
Correct.
And announced the main event was MJF versus Alex. And MJF announced, oh, by the way, Alec Price and Jordan Oliver, you guys are now all elite. That's the issue with TNA.
And I've seen them,
TNA,
and they're great.
oh, you know, they're fantastic. Don't get me
They're
wrong.
great.
But the
Congratulations.
issue, TNA doesn't have the money back in like WWE has or AEW has. And I think that's the issue, though, is you can't tell me a company like, and I completely agree. I wish some of these guys would go to TNA.
I can't believe, I'm sorry, I can't, because the fact that they gave multi-year contracts to Cedric Alexander, which we barely see on TV and TNA, and gave multi-year contracts to Mustafa Ali. I mean, come on, John. Where are they getting? You telling me Mustafa Ali is worth $50,000 a year? Come on, you know he's getting a lot more. Where are you getting this money from?
Yeah, and then the comment here says they no longer scout the way they did when.
It's like they fired Scott D'Amore, they just let go of the department of scouting. Don't even scout. It's just we'll just rely and borrow people here and there for a week or so.
Yeah.
That match, that women's match, that Omega Prime, that was match of the night for Jay. Hands down. I know the JC, and I love that match, by the way, JZC and Eddie Edwards. But match of the night was the women's knockout match. It was just money.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying on that 100%.
We got to go to the Royal Rumble and everything. I know we got to skip. We don't. I don't know if John loves TNA after the AMC debut, but you know, Jay watches it because Jay has to watch it. But yeah, we could go to Royal Rumble and stuff.
Well, we're gonna make the transition. I want to give TNA, some coverage.
We gave it some love. We gave it some love for like an hour.
But we're 2 weeks out from the Rumble.
Yes, sir.
Are you excited for the Rumble based off of what we saw coming off of last night on Raw?
Absolutely not. Jay is not excited for the Royal Rumble this year. Period. There's nothing that WWE can put on my TV, SmackDown, Saturday Night Main Event, Raw, the last show before the Rumble. There's nothing. I am not excited at all.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I forgot. You also have Saturday's Main Event coming up this week.
Now, I'm excited about Trick Williams because Trick Williams is the biggest rising star, John, that we have ever seen come out of NXT. I thought it was Braun Breaker, John. I am wrong. It is Trick Williams. Yes, I'm excited about Trick Williams' match. I'm excited.
Well, that's going to be Saturday night.
I'm excited. Anytime Trick Williams is on TV, you get excited. We all saw what happened this past Friday on SmackDown. The pop, John, is amazing. In Vegas, it's going to blow your minds. I wish I was in Vegas hearing that whoop that trick. What? Oof. Biggest rising star. So Jay is excited for Saturday Night Main Event. I am excited for that main event. I think it's going to be a good one.
And then Omega says, nobody's excited for Saudi Rumble.
Are you excited, John? Did WWE build it right for the last month to get you excited for the Royal Rumble?
No.
This is big because I know you're a Royal Rumble guy too, so this is huge.
But here's the issue. I don't think it's more the fact of the build for it. I think it's the fact of that it's in Saudi.
Ah, you can't say that. You got to say the build too. It has
the build,
to be.
Yes, but my issue is also it's the fact that you use it to me. To me, I've always been raised up, since I've been a wrestling fan, recently it's always been Crown Jewel, has always been the Saudi show.
Correct.
Now that you're bringing in the Rumble, and then obviously next year we got Mania.
They might bring back Mansoor for the title for WrestleMania next year.
Oh, God, please.
He's undefeated.
Yeah, if you want to be technical, Braun Strowman technically still holds the greatest Royal Rumble title also. I mean, you want to be technical.
I never even saw that one because it's called the Greatest Royal Rumble. So
My point is this. I think coming off the SmackDown that we saw 2 weeks ago, when they were in
yes,
Berlin, and
Mhm.
Drew won the title,
yes,
I can kind of put things in a very interesting position.
okay,
Because of the fact, now, I've always used the word with WWE, I've always used the word predictable. A lot of times they are predictable. Uh-oh.
hmm Oh my God, is it true? Is this happening?
Fucking Christ. Can we please do shit in order here?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Ray, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well, brother. How are you? Take it away.
God damn. I fucking have next to no voice and can't breathe. And like John is giving me anxiety trying to click through the comments without reading them. If you look, all of the comments line up with your talking points. Like, just, it's not difficult. You click, you read, you click, you read, you click, you read. Good Lord, John. You're killing me.
Yes, I agree, David Reynolds. Could have used, but how does Ray feel? Because Ray is a big Royal Rumble guy. Ray, please take it away. Do you feel that WWE did a great build or a good build towards the Royal Rumble?
Bro, I couldn't even tell you what day the Royal Rumble is on. Does that say
I got two big statements from two big guys that like the Rumble. This is huge. I'm speechless.
Like, I legitimately could not even tell you which day the Royal Rumble is on. Aside from the fact that there has been an absolute shitty build, I feel like they're trying to cram far too much into it. Enough with the Saturday night's main events. You don't need to have one every month. That's not the way the Saturday night's main events were ever designed to go. Okay? Once, maybe twice a quarter. That's what they were. Okay? You're not supposed to have one a week before the Royal Rumble. All right? So, secondly, the fact that you even have it in Saudi. So what? So I now have to clear my day for a 12 o'clock pay-per-view that's going to go till 4 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 6 to 10 or 8 to 11. Like, come on.
I love this comment.
That's a great, David brings up a great point.
Even seen it as a commercial for the Rumble yet, unless I missed it. You didn't. I haven't seen it either.
I haven't seen any. There have been no there have been no commercials that I have seen for the Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. I saw one promo during the national championship game last night.
Wow.
On ESPN when they were talking about it. That's it. That was it. I've been watching ESPN throughout the entirety of the college football playoffs. One. I saw one last night, and that was before kickoff.
Wow. And from Raw, all I was seeing is Skyscraper. I'm more interested in the Skyscraper Netflix Friday than I am the Rumble. It's weird. Every ad I was seeing is a Skyscraper.
Right.
Skyscraper. It's my life.
I don't listen. I want to say I don't understand why they're doing it in Saudi, but we all know why they're doing it in Saudi, right? Because money, right? Money is green no matter where you get it from, even though it's covered in red over there.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is they keep hard. They are going to kill WWE. TKO is going to kill WWE. You heard it here first. If TKO keeps doing what they are doing and chasing the dollar, they're going to kill WWE. It is not UFC. People go to UFC to see people's brains get beat in. And it is a legitimate surprise when somebody wins that shouldn't win. Okay?
And it's real.
You cannot treat the WWE the way that you do with the UFC. That's not how it goes. People already know that it is a predetermined outcome. People already know that as good as they work, the punches aren't real. You cannot price your fans, your diehard fans, out of the industry that the fans made as popular as it is. We had Phil, on a few weeks ago, right? We had Phil on, and he was talking about the boom in wrestling, and we all agreed that yes, there is a boom in wrestling. However, because of the fact that there is a boom in wrestling, TKO is trying to monetize it. And again, the comments surfaced again from TKO executives talking about how Vince McMahon wasn't maximizing the dollar, and he was more concerned about making the tickets affordable for families to be able to attend. They're saying it like it's a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. You want families to go enjoy your product. You do not want to outprice them. That is the easiest way to lose your business. And I'm telling you right now, in the next 5 years, if TKO keeps doing this, there will be no WWE, or you are going to see a conglomeration of Vince McMahon and family try to buy it back. I'm not even joking.
It should.
It's right now. It's with TKO. We talked about this last week. We were talking about the ticket prices.
Yeah,
It's insane. And I feel like I feel like the ticket price thing is could be a hot button issue for years to come.
But that's the thing and that is something that TKO has solely done on their own. The only time you should be talking about ticket prices when it comes to a wrestling event is a WrestleMania, is a Royal Rumble, is a give me an AEW big one. Full Gear.
Full Gear.
Yeah, Full Gear. I was trying to think of what their big, their like marquee
Full Gear is big. Full Gear is big.
Yeah, so like those are the ones that you should be talking about ticket prices with, right? Not fucking Raw, not Smack, like Raw, SmackDown, the house shows. Those are supposed to be priced for you to get in. Those are supposed to be used as tools to further the show to get you to want to buy the bigger money ticket, both pay-per-view wise as well as attendance wise. Like, I don't understand. I truly don't understand where TKO thinks that they're doing something great by pushing away the fans. I truly don't. And shame on the fucking Rock, Dwayne, for sitting there as a fucking chairman of the board or on the board of directors of TKO, collecting $80 million since he's been there and not fucking throwing his schmenza on the fucking table like he always says he does to fucking defend anybody for that. He's just as bad as the rest of them.
Yeah. Probably going to sell his stock soon when it goes down.
I mean, I look at it this way. Going back to the whole Rumble thing here for a second.
Well, Rumble.
It's not, it's, as far as with the build, it's a weird build because it's like we don't know who, because for years, I think we can all agree there's been times where we can sit here 2 weeks out from the show and say, okay, wrestler A is going to be the one to win it, or wrestler B is going to be the one to win it.
Okay.
Right. And John, in all of those times since this show has started, and we've done the prediction shows, or we've done the watch alongs with them, right?
Yeah.
How many times have we been correct when we have said that? We've been incorrect far more than we have been correct.
Yeah. And I think that's the issue. You look at it this year especially with the men's, because it's like, because of the fact that when they announced that, when Drew came out and said, oh, there's going to be no rematch for the title, is that their way of subtly saying, oh, by the way, Cody's winning the Rumble again? And we go through this whole...
Listen, this is the only way that I'm going to be okay with Cody winning the Rumble, all right? Cody wins the Rumble. You know that the boos are going to start that night. You know the boos are going to carry over into the Monday after.
Yeah.
You lean into them. You don't take the fucking belt off of them. You don't take the belt off of them in hopes of making the boos stop. Because if you really wanted to make the boos stop, what you would should have had is you should have had Drew and Fatu put them out till SummerSlam. Take them off TV, take them out of WrestleMania, and then have them come back on SummerSlam. People ain't gonna boo him.
No.
So if you were that concerned about the boos that he was getting and not wanting to turn him, then that's what you should have done.
But to me, it's like, okay, but I'll go this way. Why not go the predictable route and having a Cody win and also have a Braun Breaker, a Jacob, I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, a Jacob Fatu winning.
Well, I'm sorry. Did you just you want a Cody and a Braun Breaker win?
No. I'm saying instead of having Cody win.
And
going down that road again, because we've been down that road before.
Yeah.
Why not have a Braun Breaker? Why not have a Jacob Fatu?
So here's the thing, right? I don't think Braun needs to win the Royal Rumble. He's had enough strong outings against Punk and against Cody and in the War Games matches. I don't think he needs to win the Royal. The only time Braun Breaker should win the Royal Rumble, God forbid, is if he ends up being out for 6 months because of a knee injury or something, right? Like have him come back and win the Rumble. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he has been built up so much and he has proven so much. He doesn't need that win.
Okay, I'll give you another name that I think if this was the one to win, I would be ecstatic. Obafemi.
Listen, you're playing with my emotions now, John, because you know how much I want to see Obafemi on the main roster. Listen, do I want to see Obafemi in that face-off with Drew? Yes. In the Royal Rumble. Do I want to see Obafemi in the face-off with Cody? 100%. I actually think that it would be great if Oba eliminated Cody from the Rumble to kind of capitalize on the last Sunday night's main event that we had.
Yeah.
No,
I hear what you're saying. I just think if you can put somebody like Oba to win.
I would. It's not that I wouldn't love for Oba to win the Rumble, right? But you run the risk of too soon. You know what I'm saying? Like for not so much too soon for us, right? I'm talking about too soon for the main roster crowd, because as you know, with WWE, the main roster crowd isn't necessarily the NXT crowd. The NXT crowd isn't necessarily the main roster crowd. Blah blah blah. So you kind of run that risk, and I don't, very much like Braun Breaker, I don't want to see Obafemi's. I don't want to see Obafemi's chance stopped before it even begins.
Well, I was going to ask this now. Let's say they go that route, okay? And let's say they do, because I did read that Oba is advertised for the Rumble.
I believe he is, yeah. Yeah, him and the Creed brothers, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, oh, you mean it's not Jericho that everybody thinks it's on the poster?
Cares.
When did we become dumb?
Who cares?
When as wrestling fans did we become fucking stupid?
They're making us stupid.
Like
putting in stupid stuff.
I mean more so. Yeah, well, some of the stuff they have been putting on TV, you're absolutely right. But I'm more so talking about everybody knows that everybody knows that the Royal Rumble is known for its surprises. Putting up that banner and people thinking that it's Chris Jericho is asinine. That would be like them when they were at Houston putting up the banner and Edge's face is on there. Wake up.
But now going back to what my question was, I'll ask you guys listen. If Oba were to win the Rumble,
Oba.
do
Okay.
you think he would have hit his glass ceiling?
No.
By winning the Rumble?
No.
Because win the Rumble this quickly.
No.
No, but like I said, what I do think would happen is that you run the risk of tainting him. You want to present Oba the way that you did Braun. You presented Braun as something special because Braun Breaker is. Regardless of how I felt about him in NXT, regardless of how I felt about him when he came up to the main roster, Braun Breaker is special. I wish that they fucking changed his name. I would have give him any other name other than Braun Breaker. I would have preferred that he be called. You don't want to give him the I don't know. Just call him fucking Rex Steiner for all I care.
Rex Steiner.
Jesus Christ. Why is it Braun Breaker? But Braun Breaker was special when he came up. Oba Femi is special when he's finally coming up. You don't want to taint that. You want to let that play out. Which is why what they did with Braun and Punk, I think, is fantastic at exactly what fit Braun's character. And now you see him go the unhinged Steiner route, where right now he is being suspended indefinitely by Adam Pearce. It is leading to an interesting storyline. I tuned in more when I saw Heyman and Pierce on TV because I wanted to see what is going to come of this. Are we going to get a Braun Breaker Adam Pearce match? Because I'm pretty sure Adam Pearce can still go. I am almost positive that Nick Aldis and Scrap Daddy AP, they can still go. And to see Braun Breaker and Adam Pearce, I feel like that would be a pretty decent Saturday night's main event match. But, what do I know? I'm just a schlub on YouTube talking about wrestling.
But Ray, by the way, Ray, if you don't have to say the whole rest of the show if you don't want to, because I can hear your voice.
He loves it. Damn it, he's gonna talk no matter what. I ask you guys these questions because you guys bring up a lot of interesting points and stuff. Somebody agree, somebody disagree. But I'm going to say, what is the top 3 winners you have for this year's Royal Rumble? Do you have a top 3?
For which one, men or
Men's.
both? Men's.
I have a top 3. I don't know if you guys.
That's
hard. Look at that. These guys got to really think.
Well, again, I haven't.
You know what I always say? If you don't have a great build towards the Royal Rumble, what they used to do in the past is you used to have this Powerball machine in the backstage segments that you could have just done, and you could have just revealed people, no matter if they're mid or low or high, their numbers, so I could get at least a little interested, so I know what number they're going to come out and what I'm going to expect instead of getting this. But go ahead. If you guys have a top 3, I don't know.
No, I honestly don't, because like I said, I haven't put a whole lot of thought into, because of this lack of a build, I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into who would be my top 3, men winners, who would be my top 3 women's winners. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Jay and Jimmy at some point, or though maybe not, because can Big Jim even go to Saudi right now? I know that he's not international because of his previous issues. But
he announced himself in the Rumble, so.
Well, no, I know that Jay announced himself.
I don't know about Jimmy.
So
what about Jacob? But isn't Jacob also in that same?
No, I don't think Jacob has as many of the issues as Jimmy once had.
But here's the problem: is also I think with this year's Rumble, I think you're not only talking about the guys who are there, but they also got the guys coming up. You have the NXT guys as well. Not that I think one of the NXT guys could win it, but you have the NXT guys. And also, damn well with them being in Saudi, it's their first Rumble outside of the States. They're going to bring in everybody who they can get.
I mean, is it really there? I mean, we've had how many Greatest Royal Rumbles, right? We had the greatest Royal Rumble that Braun won, then we had the one where Titus went flying under the ring, or was that the same one? Was that the
That was
same
the same
one?
one.
That was the same one.
That was the same
Okay.
one.
So we've had that one that was the 60 men, whatever.
Okay.
I don't know.
Here's another thing also. We're also forgetting. You also have that working relationship with TNA.
I don't see them bringing.
You're gonna have Moose win the Royal Rumble.
I'm just saying.
Oh,
Maybe Agent 47.
You also got AAA though, in the mix.
Well, Iguana, Mr. Iguana.
Can we talk about? I don't know if you guys addressed it in the beginning of the show, and I apologize if you did. But did you guys bring up the whole Grande Americano Vikingo issue?
No, we didn't get to that yet. If you want to bring it up now, we can.
Yeah, I think. Listen, not to take away from anything that Vikingo does, but when you hear veterans say, "Yeah, I told him that he's got to slow down, he's got to stop, doing so much," and you hear stories of him just, kind of laughing it off and going back and doing the same thing, and now he's working with a shredded knee and busted shoulder and things like that. It really puts into perspective just exactly how unwilling and how unsafe to not only himself, but his partner in the ring that he is when you have somebody, and we can all agree that the person behind the mask of El Grande Americano is well respected worldwide in the wrestling ring, in the wrestling business, right? We can all say that.
Yeah.
So when he is telling the ref, both in English and in Spanish, to tell him to stay away from my fucking neck, and the next thing that Vikingo does after being told by the ref is fucking kick you right in the neck. How do you not get a label of, I don't think I want to work with that guy?
I see what you're saying. I think the thing is, for somebody like Vikingo, I don't think he's ever been told that. And I don't know Vikingo personally.
Well, nobody does. None of us do.
No.
He had a share of mishaps in AEW. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah, I mean, he almost fucking
this is not
paralyzed himself. That's what I'm saying.
It's almost
like you've had Rey Mysterio tell you can't keep doing that. You're gonna fucking kill yourself. You've had Conan tell you you got to slow it down. Like you have like and listen, I know a lot of the young ones look at Conan now and they're like, the fuck? Make no mistake about it. Back in the day, Conan was that dude. Okay,
all day.
There you go. I just want everybody to realize, before the NWO, before the health issues, Conan was that dude.
And so he was Conan to make Wolfpack.
Yeah. So if Conan is telling you, think of your longevity, brother. Think of the longevity in this business. You got to slow it down. You got to not take so many risks. And your immediate reaction is to shirk it off and go take more risks.
But guys, here's the thing. You mentioned a good point. You said he said it in English and Spanish. But why they keep doing it?
Because I've heard. Here's the thing though. You've heard a lot of, especially the veterans, who say this, and I know I always go back to Busted Open, and because Bully Ray has said this a lot. You see this a lot where the younger guys think they know all. Think they know, oh, well, I know what's going to get me to the top. And then they do the reckless stuff. And yet you get somebody like Conan, somebody like Bully Ray, who's going to sit there and say, no, think about, you want to be in this industry for 10, 20, 30 years down the road. They look at it as, well, what do you know?
Well, perfect example. Remember, what was it? The height of the pandemic. Billy Gunn is doing a podcast. I think it might have been a Chris Van Vliet. And he's doing an interview, and he's talking about, oh, what's it like coaching the younger kids? And he's like, fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Fucking hate it. They don't listen to a goddamn thing I say. He's not joking. He's being legitimate. because he'll say you don't need to do 75 moves in 4 minutes. You do 3 moves, you let it fucking rest, and you let the crowd use their imagination. And Billy Gunn is being told, what do you know?
Yeah, and that's
is it off ego? Or you say
Well,
that these wrestlers
I
are
think
off
a lot
ego
of it.
is just what they learn.
I think it is off ego. I think they think that they're 75 flips and 23 poison ranas and going through 75 tables at once,
They'll get
all
you over.
stacked up, is what got them here. So that Darby Allin is the perfect example.
It's going to get you over to the top. They think.
You know, I like Darby Allin, but I fear every time Darby Allin has a match.
I don't like this match.
You know, although I will say the match, was it the match that he had with, I think it was the last pay-per-view that he had, the him and Pac opened up the pay-per-view. That was probably the best Darby Allin match I ever watched, because Darby proved to me and to a lot of other people he doesn't need the fucking crazy spots.
Was that Dynamite? I think it was Dynamite.
Was it Dynamite?
no, wasn't that Wrestle Dream?
Yes, I think it might have been Wrestle Dream.
But they fought again, though. They fought
Oh,
again.
no, they had like 4 matches, like
Yeah.
4
I will-
high-profile
I will
matches.
say
Yeah.
this. You know, I just want to talk about one quick thing with El Grande before, because I got one more quick topic I want to get to before we wrap things up for tonight. He did a promo last night on Raw. Him and the other 2 guys. I love how he's supposed to be this big star from Mexico, and yet he could talk English. And that's the thing also. If you listen to the promo and you go back to it, it was what's her face? They were getting interviewed by Jackie
Party
Redmond.
foul. Well, hold on. So hold on. John, I am so glad that I stayed. John.
John is so serious looking right now. Like, what?
Is Rey Mysterio a big lucha star in Mexico?
Yeah,
Okay. Does Rey Mysterio cut his promos in Spanish or in English?
it depends.
John, does Rey Mysterio cut his promos in Spanish or in English?
English.
Oh. But he's a big star in Mexico, though, right? Like literal wrestling royalty, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, dang, fries are done. So, I fail to understand what one has to do with the other.
But at least if they're going to try to have El Grande Americano speak, at least let him try to have some sort of English accent. Because how could I take him seriously? Because when in the promo, he was talking like he was Kaiser.
John, that's literally the gimmick. We all know that El Grande Americano isn't actually Mexican. That's the whole gimmick. It is a parody gimmick. Like, he's not supposed to be a lucha libre legend. That's the gimmick.
Let's move on now because I realize.
Let's move on to the next topic. John, go ahead. Take it away.
The Rascals. I just want to touch on this very quickly.
Cool, man.
Their debut last week.
How was it?
Now, reports came out initially that it was supposed to be all 4 of them. Trey Miguel, Myron Reed, Zachary Wentz, and Desmond Xavier.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Collision.
Babe, look at your message, please.
I put that up there just in case it was something that you need.
Don't stop, John. Go ahead. Keep going.
All of a sudden, Collision. The 4 of them were supposed to make their debut. All of a sudden, Collision comes around, and I think I forgot her name.
It was DDP's daughter there. I can't remember her name.
Is it she married or engaged to what's his face?
Fucking Big Cass.
Big Cass?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you only see 3 of them. You see Myron, Zach, and Desmond come out. And everybody's
Mhm.
sitting there going, where the hell's Trey?
Well, so can I just pause you right there?
Yeah.
Trey's been signed to AEW before all of the other rascals. Like Trey was the first one to leave TNA and get signed. They kept him off TV for whatever reason. Well, I mean, obviously, as we talk about this developing story, we're going to find out why. But when they had announced that the Rascals had moved to TNA, moved from TNA to AEW, I wasn't expecting to see the old Rascals, right? I was expecting to see the TNA ones because of already knowing that Trey Miguel had months prior already signed with AEW.
Yeah, and that's what. So what happened was the three of them debut, and then we see Trey Miguel puts out a post saying he's taking a break from wrestling. And okay, everybody thinks, okay, it's mental health. Believe me, we've all done it. Then also reports started coming out that it was something that Trey had said years ago, and that it wasn't
Otherwise known as the Jay Briscoe treatment.
at bingo. And it wasn't Tony Khan who said no, it was Warner Brothers.
It wasn't Tony Khan that said no to Jay Briscoe either. It was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It was WBD that said no to putting Jay on TV until, unfortunately, his untimely passing.
Now,
from a drunk fucking driver, you piece of shit.
Let me ask you guys a question. And I guess this is more wrestling, but life in general. Should we, at a certain point, if somebody says something, because we've all said something stupid that we regret saying, should you still be held accountable for what you said, even though you apologize, you make amends, and you move on?
John, I think we've had this discussion several times, just not actually on air, but you can, I've said it before, you cannot apply today's standards to something that was said 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago. I mean, you literally had James Gunn kicked out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for something that he had said almost 20 years prior, because you're looking at it through the lens of today. Like that's not, as a society, that is not how it's supposed to work. You're not supposed to evolve and then go digging back into somebody's past and be like, ha, you piece of crap. That's not how it goes. You judge them in today's lens, by today's standard, in what they have done today. Now, if they have continued to have that same rhetoric, that same hatefulness, that same, whatever, I have an idea of what was said, with David Starr and everything. I have an idea of what was said. And if he has continued on that path, which if he has in this day and age, we would have known a long time ago, then yes, absolutely, he deserves that treatment. But to judge what he did almost 10 years ago by the lens of today is absolutely ridiculous.
I just think, it depends on what was mentioned by a certain individual, right? Because we have seen, I'll take it out of wrestling. One actor I thought would be the future was James Franco. I thought he was on a hot streak. What happened, the Me Too movement, everything came out. Now he's like blacklisted. He doesn't even live in the States. So I think it depends on what the wrestler said or what the wrestler's actions was. We also seen it with Masa Slamovich, which is pretty ugly. We've seen it with John, you said for the kickoff, Tessa Blanchard. We've seen it with her too, her treatment of what she did to other wrestlers. I think it just depends on the severity of what was said. Now, I don't know what was said on the Rascals part. Maybe you guys can fill me in, or John. But I think it depends. And I think, like Ray said, you can come over it. But we got to remember, guys, this generation is like super sensitive. Anything like you say, they're just going to run with it no matter what. And I think it's unfair too.
I'm not sure I would say that they're super sensitive. I would definitely say that they're more aware. But the problem with being more aware is it's the lack of understanding that yes, you are more aware. Like my granddaughter is more aware at 12 than I was at 12, right? Like if she heard some of the shit that I said when I was 12, she would be absolutely horrified, right?
Earmuffs.
Right, exactly. But the difference is that's when I was 12. It's not now, nor has it carried through the entire time, right? So you can't. And again, yes, Jay, you're absolutely right. It also it's because it's so nuanced. It also depends on what it was. You know, was it SA? Was it DV? Was it attempted murder? Like there are certain things that no matter what, there is no statute of limitations, right? Those don't run out. That proves that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
actually trying to see what you guys are talking. I'm curious to see if I can pull up exactly what was said.
Yeah, I
think
don't
Reddit-
really
I
know
think,
what was said. This is
Weird
news to me.
Circle Reddit might have it, if I'm not mistaken.
This is news to me.
Yeah, it was a back. I do vaguely remember it was a back and forth between Trey Miguel and David Starr, and David Starr was doing he was very big. He was doing a big SJW kind of gimmick, even for things that didn't particularly pertain to him, but you know he was jumping in on it. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying this is what, if I remember correctly, was happening. So he was doing that. Oh, you got it.
Yep. Through Wrestling Inc. It's not the whole thing, but it's just at least the summary of what happened.
Right.
Miguel is known to have made controversial remarks on 2 occasions. The first was in 2019 when he made anti-Semitic comments towards wrestler David Starr, while the second occurred in March of 2020 when he used homophobic rhetoric while arguing with a Facebook user.
Facebook user?
He was a Facebook user. Miguel apologized for the latter comments, but had never commented on his statements towards Starr, who would later leave wrestling after being accused of sexual, verbal, emotional abuse at the beginning of the speaking out in June of 2020. Released comments following Miguel's release. Now,
Man, this is so recent. I'm thinking it's like 10, 20 years ago. It's like freaking 5 years ago, man.
This was between 5 and 10 years ago. I think Me Too was like almost 7 now.
Yeah,
or close to 7, and that's when David Starr was put out.
Yeah.
So David Starr was, ironically, was outed due to the Me Too movement. So we're talking about something that happened a couple years before the Me Too movement, essentially.
Just like the creator of Rick and Morty. Damn you, Me Too.
Especially with the anti-Semitic things. We're seeing, and I don't want to get into the political side of things because that could be a whole discussion in itself.
Right.
You're seeing it now, but I was reading the apology thing, and he's made the differences, and maybe it's because of who I am, but I'm a believer that if you apologize, you realize you screwed up, and you kind of learn from your mistake. I'm of the mentality of you give them a second chance.
That's
but
the
to
thing.
turn around,
yeah, that's kind of what it's supposed to be.
That's the thing. I seen so many celebrities beg for second chances. Do what you say, guys, and it's just not acceptable.
Oh, listen, and also on the flip side of that coin, some people are just fucking pieces of shit, and they'll beg for the forgiveness, and then 8 months later they'll show you that
Well, it's like a gang, right? You have your actors who are A-listers, and then you have others that don't. And if you're not in the A-lister, you're not in, right?
And that's the issue, though. But then the other part where it was that he made comments as a Facebook user. I mean, we're all in wrestling groups. How many times do you see somebody make a post on Facebook and you just see the arguing starts?
Some of it is really, really dumb, by the way.
Bro, I could go into any wrestling Facebook group, post a picture of the old school red, white, and blue ropes against the old WCW black and yellow ropes and say the red, white, and blue ropes were better. I will be called a racist. I will be called a fascist. I will be called everything under the sun because I chose the red, white, and blue ropes over the black and yellow ropes.
I mean,
vice versa.
But I was saying with the Jada, I'll get to you in 1 second. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
Isn't that where the play of if you're on Facebook and you see something you don't agree with, there's a simple thing called you scroll past that post.
No, but that's not how it works, John. That's not how these.
not what
I mean,
does.
that's not how it works. Don't you know that?
And
Social media gives me a way to voice my opinion. Therefore, I need to voice my opinion on everything I see, whether I like it or I don't. That's what that means. The fact of the matter is, like Mike Tyson said, people have become far too comfortable with saying shit that usually would have gotten them punched in the fucking mouth.
John, you read all these things, but Trey, what do you think? Will you give him a chance?
What would I give Trey?
Yeah, everything you mentioned, everything you said to us and everybody that's watching, would you give him a second chance? Even though you said he earned it, right? He deserves a second chance.
Yeah, I'm of the mentality if you realize you screwed up and you realize, hey, I didn't, not you said to say I didn't mean to say what I said because you said it, but if you at least admit, hey, it was not right for me to say what I said, and at least you become off sincere about it, yeah, I'm of the mentality you give them a second chance.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's been almost 8 years. It's been closer to 10 years than not. And there hasn't been any other issues regarding this.
Well,
so to me, that shows that he was sincere in his apology. He learned. He has moved forward. Just because people don't make... I am so sick of society sometimes. Just because people don't make such a grandiose show of, I am donating half of my salary to, fucking Pig Hearts for Life or whatever. Fucking figure out your own fucking charity to that you would donate to. But the fact of the matter is, just because people don't make those grandiose shows of look, I've reformed, those performative actions, and that's what they are. They are performative actions to get some of the people back to their side. It doesn't mean that they haven't changed, that they haven't acknowledged what they said was wrong, that they haven't evolved as a human being. And again, like Jay said, in some cases, none of that matters because the original instance was so egregious that, well, no, none of that matters. I'm looking at you, Matt Lauer, and having your fucking little button underneath your desk to lock in your secretaries, you old freak.
Well, I'll put it this way. If it was such a big issue with Trey Miguel, do you think WWE would have had him in NXT, the couple appearances? It was such an issue.
Again, that is also another way to look at it. Because I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have made that. Look at how quickly they were to look. Give me a second.
Think about it.
Look at how quick they were to get rid of Zachary Wentz when his estranged girlfriend posted the picture of him from like 10 years prior.
Well, because the problem is, even though he may have been not found guilty, in regular,
he was guilty in the court of public opinion.
Bingo. And that's the issue. You look at a lot of these guys, like Jay Briscoe, for example. I'll go back to Jay for this one. Because he was found guilty in public opinion, you never saw him wrestle again. I hate to say it, I don't think we're ever going to see
you never saw him wrestle on AEW TV.
No.
You did see Jay wrestle quite a bit, but it was always on ROH TV. And here's the funny thing. Jay was one of those people that when he had the conversations that he was originally scared to have, and he sat down with the people that were willing to teach him and lead him back to his faith and show him. What did he do? He became a huge supporter. Fucking, what's his name there? What's his name? Oh, he's always wrestling with Ali Catch. What is his name? Effie said he never felt safer in a locker room than when Jay Briscoe was there.
Yeah.
Guys, I hate to say this, but sometimes it just takes time. Look at Zachary. It took time for him to see us back in NXT, right? Takes years. It takes time. Look, I'll give you the same example I gave you earlier. James Franco, banned from Me Too. Guess what? I pop Netflix to watch Raw. Who pops up on my screen? James Franco in a Stephen King TV series that I didn't even know he's back in the States doing shows. It's look it up.
Stephen King
James
series?
Franco is in a Stephen King's mini series that he travels back in time and kind of changes the past from.
You're talking about 11. Dude, that
11,
show 11/22/63. It was the day that Kennedy was assassinated.
Look how many years it took
that
for
was
him
that show was a Hulu original. That show actually came out before the Me Too movement.
Yeah,
That show was a Hulu original. It was so good.
Yeah, but look how many years it took for him to get a state job. You know what I mean? Like, it's all that's how these companies do, man.
I think it's safe to say, I think we're going to wrap it up on there because we're getting towards the end of the show now. Overall, I'll say this much. I hope we see Trey Miguel wrestling again. Would I like to see all four of them together? Would I like to see him with the other guys? Yes. Will it happen? Who knows? Only time will tell.
Now, before we end, do you think it was right for AEW to sign the Rascals? And do you think they would succeed with all the wrestlers that do the same stuff they do, but a little better? Two-part question.
So I feel like since the Lucha Bros have gone to WWE, there's kind of been a hole in that real close-knit kind of tag team. Like, you have the Lucha Bros, they're brothers, obviously, right? So you have that real close-knit tag team right there. I think the Rascals can kind of take that, have a little bit more fun with it. And the cool thing about the Rascals is their style is very similar to the Lucha Bros, where if you want to wrestle, we can wrestle. If you want a spot monkey fest, give us the ladders.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that I think if booked properly and if done correctly, that they could be very successful in AEW. I would, especially with FTR holding the titles right now, and FTR's motto has always been what? No flips, just fists, baby.
So you think it was the right move? I asked John the same. So Ray,
I think it was a good move, and I think later on you'll find out that it probably was the right move.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's going to definitely help boost that tag team division big time. And now look at the potential matches you're going to have. Them and FTR, them and the Bucks. You're going to have, them with, I'll put it this way. Put them in the ring. I would say probably Desmond and Zach with Speedball and Kevin Knight.
Who's the strongest out of all of them?
Desmond. I think Desmond's the strongest out of all of them. And I think that was proven by how quickly NXT was able to be like, all right, once you're gone, Desmond, here's the Rocket. And they gave him the Rocket on NXT.
And they saw Javon, and they're like, you know what, Javon, I'm going to let go of Waitsley, and I'm going to give you the Rocket.
But then,
unfortunately, they forgot to turn his Rocket the right way. They've got it. They've got it so it shoots him
talk
down.
about Javon Evans, John.
Listen, I love Javon Evans. Okay, I do. But I'm just saying that when they put the Rocket on, they put the Rocket on upside down because he's not going up.
It didn't strap on, so it's just
something. They did something wrong.
Yeah, well, Javon.
No,
Face this towards enemy. They put it backwards.
But I will say this much, show. Another team I could easily see the Rascals doing well with in Ring of Honor. You have the team of Lee Johnson and Blake Christensen.
Yeah, that could be a good one.
Or even a step further. What about the team of Tony Nese and I think it's Arya Davari?
Davari's little brother.
But there's so many. I think that's the one thing is you have the potential. But we're gonna get out of here now, guys. But before we go, guys, Ray, how are you feeling, by the way? And first of all, I'm glad to see you back.
I feel like shit, John. I feel like absolute crap.
You talk like Batman. Like, yes.
I wouldn't even be here right now if you could just click in numerical order, in sequential order on the comments. I would have just continued watching from home.
Well, thank you for the run-in. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for irritating me to the point that I had to, John. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm supposed to be resting.
Okay, Scott Farrell.
Can you imagine if I come in next week and my voice is just stuck like this?
I got it.
O'Reilly's Auto Parts, better service.
I got it. Around the Ropes, brought to you by Scott Farrell and Damian Priest off of Timo.
Oh, he's saying Timu Priest. Jay, you gonna let him stand with that? Wow.
Well, guys, we're getting out of here now. Appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. Next week, obviously, will be the Rumble preview. Hopefully, we have a better Impact Wrestling this week because they have to have a bounce back. For all of us here,
we'll talk about that later. No. Just I was gonna say something, but it can wait till next week. It's fine.
For all of us here, guys, again, follow us on Facebook. Which, guys, again, we'll be back on Facebook in probably next week. Actually, the guys will be back on Facebook.
And
so
maybe even Twitch.
Yes. And also subscribe to us. We're on YouTube, but also,
John, how much does that subscription cost?
$3.99.
$3.99?
Yeah.
Shit, if it's free, I'll take 3, baby.
We got a comment here. David Runnels. Get well soon, right?
Ricky Rabbit here. Thank you, David. I appreciate that.
Guys, as always, I appreciate everybody who tuned in. For Scott
Get
Farrell,
well soon, Ray.
for Scott Farrell of Temu.com, for Damian Priest of Temu.com, and I'm Shmuley. We'll catch you guys next time right here on the Around the Ropes radio show.
Fuck ice.